So we turn our attention to the 10 Commandments, to Parshat Yitro, to Mount Sinai. It's a very important Shabbat because we get to hear and experience the reciting of the 10 Commandments in its original version from Mount Sinai 3,250 years ago. Now, we often focus on what is called the Sinaitic covenant. That is to say, not just the 10 Commandments, but all of the mitzvot, all of the laws, all of the Torah that was given, both the written Torah, which we would call the Tanakh or the Hebrew Bible, and the oral Torah, which we would call the Talmud, all of which was given to Moses by God at Mount Sinai, again, 3,200 years ago. And often we focus on the 10 Commandments, trying to parse them and pick them apart and understanding the differences between the first 4 and the last 6, and looking at the commandments as they pertain to those between us and God and those between us and other people. But I wanted to share, as I do sometimes, directly from the Sfat Emet, which is the Rabbi Yehuda Leib Alter of Ger, Hasidic rabbi of a couple hundred years ago, and look at his reaction to the Israelites' reaction to after Moses, according to the Torah, recites the 10 Commandments. Can someone remind me how the Israelites react to the thunder, the lightning, the cloud, the pillars, the laser light show, if you will? How do they react? Do you remember? Huh? They freaked out. That is probably the best possible way. Oh, P.S. Cantor, I was thinking. I figured out a way we can take tomorrow morning off. So Keilah's going to officiate at Sydney's bat mitzvah, and Sydney's going to officiate at Keilah's bat mitzvah.
I wish we could write on Shabbat, because I would love that in writing.
Then
Okay.
we can leave.
I'm down.
We don't have to be here.
That's great. We'll see you at Havdalah tomorrow night.
I like that idea. I have no problem turning the bima over to either one of them.
Amen.
By the way. So, and I speak for the cantor. So they freak out. That, Kehilah, is the perfect way of describing it. They freak out. And in fact, the Torah tells us that they can't handle this voice of God. But one of the things that may freak you out is how they freak out, and then how the rabbis interpret that freaking out. So I know you don't have Tanakh with you, so let me take the pleasure of reading to you. It'll be like story time at Congregation Beth Israel. So the people, they witness this thing, and the thunder and the lightning and the blare and the horn, and the mountain is shaking, and there's earthquaking going on, and they say to Moses, no, you speak to us, don't let God speak to us. But there's this one line that is just so cool after the 10 Commandments. It says, V'chol ha'am ro'im et hakolot, that the entire the entire nation, ro'im et hakolot. Now, it's funny because the translation here says all the people witnessed the thunder and the lightning, and then they went to Moses and they said, you speak to us. But that is not what the word ro'im means. It doesn't mean witness. It means they see. Thank you. Thank you. Ro'im, they see. The kolot, plural, voices. Ooh, what is that about? Ooh, I just did fancy Hebrew with my translator sitting right here. Thank you, sir. So, check this out. What does that mean? V'chol ha'am ro'im et hakolot. The entirety of the nation of Israel saw the kolot, the plural voices of God. Well, Rabbi Yehuda Leib Alter of Ger, otherwise known as the Sfat Emet, ready for story time, says the following. It's going to be a little heavy duty tonight, but I know because these women are going to be leading services tomorrow morning, they can handle it. All right, ready for some deep stuff, guys? This is deep chassidut. Here we go. How was that? Now it's going to be totally anticlimactic. All right, so the people witness, forget that, see the voices of God. What does that mean, that they see the voices plural and the thunder and the lightning and all that? He says the following. The voice was that which said, Ani Adonai Elohechem. I am Adonai, your God. That is as far as Rabbi Yehuda Leib Alter of Ger say God got. I am Adonai, your God. Ani Adonai Elohecha. Didn't even get to commandments 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Just got a couple of words out, and the people freaked out. So he says each one of Israel, everybody. This is us too, because remember, our souls were there too. Did you remember that? Right? When you go to the Western Wall and one of the Orthodox guys comes up to you and says, "Oh, I know you." And you say, "I don't know you." And he says, "Yes, we were at Sinai together." Aha! Stay with me, people. The voice which said, "I am the Lord your God." Each one of Israel saw the root of his or her own life force. With their very eyes, each one saw the part of the divine soul above that lives within. They had no need to believe the commandments because they saw the commandments. That's the way it is when God speaks. Now, let me put that into a little bit less fluffy language. The voices of God speak, Ani Adonai Elohecha, singular, I am Adonai your God, but they see it, they witness it as a multitude of voices. Why is it in the plural? Because each individual, unique human being heard, saw in their own way what God looks like, what the divine looks like, and then what it looks like inside of themselves, what it looks like above, and what it looks like within themselves. And that's why it's plural, because there were not just 602,000 Israelites, as it says in the Torah at Sinai, but all of us too, all the generations to come, all the generations before, and all the people who stood there. That's why it's plural. And each one of us hears the voice of God uniquely, because each one of us has a very specific, very unique, no two fingerprints are alike, well, no two neshamot are alike, no two souls are alike. So each one of them heard it, saw it in their own unique way. This is the beauty of Judaism. The beauty of Judaism is there may be some dogmas. There may be some dogmas with like matzah and Passover. But in general, everyone is not only given permission to, but commanded to in some ways, to understand based on how they see themselves within this covenant, within this particular moment in time, that we relive every day because revelation is ongoing. So there's a great rabbi named Arthur Green, who is a wonderful, still alive, you should read his stuff or listen to him on YouTube, wonderful teacher of Jewish mysticism and Chassidut, and so this is his commentary. The dramatic setting of the Sinai revelation is so powerful that we sometimes forget to ask, we sometimes forget to ask the internal question about what this event of God's self-revealing meant to those who were present, and we too are among them, of course. Here, in this verse, we are told that the supernatural, seeing the voices, plural, means that each one uniquely experienced the divine voice speaking within his or her own soul. To this, all the rest of religion, indeed perhaps all the rest of life, is merely commentary. And here's what that means. It means that our life's mission, our life's work, is to locate that divine within us, to locate that spark of God within us. That is our life's mission. The rest is commentary. I would argue the rest is a way to get there, observing mitzvot, Jewish ritual, living Jewish life, going to Israel, being in Israel, seeing the world through Jewish eyes. These are all the ways that we do that. But what this beautiful, beautiful commentary is saying is that from Sinai until now, it's all been about looking for that voice of God within us. The one that we know is within us because it's what helps us determine what's right and wrong. Whether we're watching TV or reading a newspaper article, it's the one that tells us, this isn't so right. It's the one that tells us what to tell our children when they ask a yes or no question that needs to be a yes or no answer. Right, which is hard these days because, God forbid, you should give a yes or no answer to your children without, giving them options. He said sarcastically. The point is, focus on this Shabbat, that last line of what Rabbi Green says. Seeing the voice means that each one uniquely experienced the divine voice speaking within his or her own soul. Think about what that means. to this, all the rest of religion, indeed perhaps all the rest of life, is merely commentary. What it means, this Shabbat I ask you to think about, to experience the divine voice speaking within yourself. That's what it's all about. That's huge. That's what it means to be in covenant with God. God wants us to be like God because God wants us to recognize that part of us that is God-like within us. And for those of you who say, I don't believe in God, fine. God can handle that. But that does not negate that part of the supernatural universe that is within you. Call it whatever you want to call it. Other than God, I'm totally cool with that. But our mission in life is to be a light to the nations, and in order to be a light to the nations, you have to be a light unto yourself. And you do that by locating that light within you. Thank God our B'nai Mitzvah showed us a little bit of what that light of God looks like tonight through their voices and through their presence. And we can all, as we tomorrow morning stand for the hearing of the chanting of the Ten Commandments, pretend and go back to that Sinai moment and realize it wasn't just once. It's always. Shabbat Shalom. Okay.